Yo guys, I'm Nvme and welcome back to another Dying Light the Beast video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys a whole lot of weapons that you can get in Dying Light the Beast to help you guys with your playthrough. Some of these weapons you can get very early on, some of these you can get later. Some of these could actually be the best weapons in Dying Light the Beast, and some of them are just fun to use. Now before I start with this video, I'd like to ask you guys to please drop a quick like to help support everything that I do on my channel, while also considering to subscribe for more useful and interesting Dying Light the Beast content. And lastly, a special thank you to all the members on my channel while letting you guys know that if you become a member, you'll also get a shout out at the start of my videos. But with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Now starting off with the first weapon, we got the hunting crossbow. Now this isn't a legendary weapon, but you can get it at the beginning of the game, and is one of the best crossbows in the entire game. Now you can buy this crossbow at a vendor at, I think maybe level 11, but here's how you can get it very early on. You want to head over to this safe zone right here, claim it, and then sleep till the next day. When you do this, this guy will appear in your backyard, giving you a job. Now this job will involve you hunting down some kind of banshee, and it says you got to do it at night. However, I saw someone do this during the day, so maybe you guys can experiment and let me know in the comments. But anyways, when you complete this side quest, there'll be a choice at the end. Now not to spoil anything for you guys, I'll let you guys know that neither of the choices matter. You can pick whatever you want and still get the crossbow. It's a very powerful crossbow and it's probably one of the best ones in the entire whole game. So if you enjoy using the crossbow, this is the best one to get. But now next up we got the Iga, which is a tennis racket that you can get over here in this location, inside of the Golden Pine area. You want to make your way up to the attic of this location, and you will find it hanging right here. Now the weapon doesn't have any mod slots, but it does have these interesting stats, and is honestly just a fun weapon to use in Dying Light the Beast. But now next up we got the Breslau blade. Pretty sure I butchered that, so feel free to criticize me in the comments, as usual. But anyways, the way you get this sword is by heading over to the town hall and finding this statue. The statue will be holding the weapon you want, and the way you get it is by destroying all of these insignias. I'm not really sure what they're called. But all you gotta do is destroy all the ones that I'm showing on screen with either a gun, or I believe you can also use a melee weapon. But anyways, you just gotta destroy them all. Now once you've destroyed all of them, all you gotta do is interact with the statue, and you'll see this firecracker-like celebration. Once the celebration is over, you can just climb up and collect the weapon from the statue. Now this sword has 3 mod slots, which is amazing, and the stats are also pretty good to make this weapon a good nighttime weapon. Now next up we got the Expcalibur II. If you guys played Dying Light 1, you would probably know what this weapon is. It was a really cool dev weapon that you can get at the start of Dying Light 1, which dealt a lot of damage and could fling zombies a very good distance. Now the way you get this weapon is by finding 8 sigils or sigils, I don't know how you say this, but you gotta find 8 of these stones around Castor Woods. Now something to keep in mind though is that you have to have progressed through the story to where you've gotten to the Exiles cave. The reason why is that one of these stones is inside the Exile cave, so if you haven't progressed far enough, you won't be able to get your hands on the Expcalibur. But if you have progressed, all you gotta do is follow what I'm doing on screen to get all of these 8 stones. Now once you've gotten all of these stones, all you gotta do is head over to this location and climb up all the way to the top of this rock. At the top you will find the sword in the ground with a bunch of sticks around it that allow you to put the stones in these places. Once you put the stones in these places, a charger will spawn for you to deal with. Now once you deal with the charger, all you gotta do is try to pull a sword out of the ground. Now the issue with this is that you will have to be holding down the collect button for a very, very long time. So what I recommend is, getting a TV show on or maybe a video, some shorts, whatever you can do to pass the time while you hold down the square button or whatever button you're using to pull the sword. But once you finally get the sword, here's what it looks like. Now in my opinion, this is probably one of the coolest looking weapons in Dying Light the Beast. It's got all these skulls on it, it's kind of golden, although the stats are a bit underwhelming. There are no mod slots to it, which is, not that surprising. And like I said, the stats aren't really all that great, but the weapon does look pretty cool, so it does have that. But next up, if you head over to this safe zone right here by Elemental Food Swinery in the Pembroke area, you can head over to this safe zone to find the Saw Blade Blueprint. Just head over to this location, find your way up, it shouldn't be too difficult, but once you do it, it'll be inside one of these small buildings. Now to craft the Saw Blade itself, the resources are reasonable, although the ammo for it is not. It does say it deals a lot of damage, however when I've tested it with tougher infected, it takes a lot of shots, and because the ammo is very expensive, I do not think this weapon is that worth it. Although who knows, maybe in the future Techland will, balance this out, maybe buff it up a bit, and not have it take a bazillion shots to kill one volatile. But who knows, we'll see in the future. But next up we got the flamethrower and the grenade launcher. Now you get the ability to craft these weapons from your skill tree. All you gotta do is use your skill points to get them and craft them. Now starting with the flamethrower, the resources to craft it are reasonable in my opinion. However, the ammo is pretty expensive. Not only that, when you do use this flamethrower, it depletes a lot of its ammo very quickly. So yeah, if you feel like farming the fuel to actually, make the ammo, as well as, getting the resin for it, then this weapon could be very useful. It's great for dealing with crowds because, you can just swoosh the flamethrower around to get a very big area. And when they're set on fire, it deals a lot of damage. However, it's not just great for crowds, you can actually use this to deal with tougher infected because of the amount of damage it deals. However, be very careful with this thing because it is expensive to use, but can be very useful when dealing with bosses. Now next up we have the grenade launcher. Now the resources to craft it is also reasonable, and it has 5 types of ammo. Now starting with the first one, we have the standard explosive grenade. Now in my personal experience, it doesn't really reach a very good area. I feel like the radius is way too small. However, it does deal a good amount of damage and can be useful for not only groups of infected, but also bosses as well. So yeah, the only thing I can say about this explosive grenade is that it does need a bigger radius. But now the next type we have is the freezing grenade. And I'm sure you guys can tell from the name, this freezes enemies that are hit by it. Now to me this isn't very, useful because it doesn't deal a lot of damage. And when you do freeze enemies and try to jump down and attack them with your melee weapon, you also get hurt. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So yeah, in my opinion, I would not use the freezing grenade. But now next up we got the incendiary grenade. This one in my opinion is the best one out of all of them. It is a bit pricey to get because you do need fuel, but trust me, it is well worth it. It catches a very big area and lasts 10 whole seconds. Not only that, when you're dealing with groups of infected, they will walk into the fire and pretty much kill themselves. So you don't even have to shoot a bunch of them in a big area, you can just shoot one, and some of them will walk towards it and kill themselves, allowing you to save some ammo. So yeah, in my opinion, this one is the best one to use. But now the next one we got is the shock grenade. Now this one is sort of like the previous one, although it only has 7 seconds instead of 10, which does give you a smaller window to actually kill the infected. It is, however, somewhat cheaper to make, if you can get your hands on some batteries, but it is still second place when it comes to this list. And the last one we have is the UV grenade. Now this one is a bit of a disappointment because I thought, it would last a bit longer. However, when I shoot it, it says that it lasts 7 seconds, but honestly it feels a whole lot less. It isn't really all that great. In my opinion, the time needs to be at least doubled for it to be worth making. There's literally no point to even using this. I mean, it could probably, scare away some volatiles for a short amount of time, but even then, it doesn't really keep them away all that well. So yeah, in my opinion, this one is a bit of a disappointment, and I would only use the incendiary and the shock grenades. But next up, we got the tempered crowbar. If you head over to this location right here and climb up to the highest silo, you will find a legendary blueprint. This blueprint is already legendary. You don't have to upgrade it or nothing. You can just get the blueprint and then craft the crowbar as a legendary rarity. Now, it isn't the best weapon ever, but it is a very good weapon at the start of the game, mainly because you can craft it whenever you want, and it deals a good amount of damage to the infected. So yeah, if you're just now starting to play Dying Light the Beast, I would highly recommend you get your hands on this weapon ASAP. But I'm moving on to the weapons that you can actually get from the vendors. If you didn't know, if you reach level 11, you will start to get legendary weapons. And if you get your level higher than that, you'll have a higher chance of getting these legendary weapons. Now right here, I'm only going to show you guys a few of the weapons you can get, but just know there are a lot more weapons that you can get from these vendors. But now first, let's start off with the Town Hall. Now I don't know if all these weapons are only for the Town Hall or if you can find them at the Exiles cave, but either way, here's how you can farm them. Now if you want to refresh the vendors like items so that you can try to get these weapons, all you got to do is follow where I'm going on screen and head over to this spot right here, like under this little tunnel. If you have a grappling hook, this will be a lot faster and a lot more efficient, but if you don't, you can just run. But all you got to do is run here and then run back to the vendor, and the items in his store will refresh. But now that we talked about how you can farm weapons from this vendor, let's talk about the potential weapons you can get. The first one we have is the Duelist, which has these stats and looks like a weapon from the medieval times. I honestly love how the guard looks on this weapon. It looks really cool, really unique. And it also has mod slots, so you can actually improve upon this to make it deal more damage. But next up we got the Hunting Knife. Now this is a pretty boring looking knife, but it is one that you can get from the vendor. But next up we got the Sanctuary, which kind of looks like the Chupaga, but a bit more beefy and worn out. It does look pretty cool, however when you throw it, it does not come back to you like the Chupaga weapon. And lastly we got the Legacy Katana, which I'm sure we can all appreciate. I mean, it's a katana, we all love katanas. They look amazing and feel amazing, and this one is no different. This is probably one of my favorite weapons in Dying Light the Beast, although if they do bring like a better looking katana, it'll probably replace this very quickly. Now next up we got the Exiles cave. The strat that we have is pretty much the same thing, just go far enough and then come back. And for me, I found like going all the way out here, past like this, open gate, like make sure you go past it. You can then go back to refresh the items in the vendor's stash. Now me personally, I like to use the grappling hook when trying to get to the fence. And then I do this trick where I like slide and use the after boost a bunch of times. I don't know if it's faster, but it does feel a lot faster. But anyways, let's talk about the weapons you can potentially get from the Exiles cave's vendor. The first one we have is the Extinguisher, which in my opinion looks really creative. Like, I don't know why, it just looks so cool to me, and it really stands out as a weapon. The stats are alright, and the weapon itself does deal a good amount of damage, but to me, I mainly like it because of the looks. Next up, we got the Double Trouble, which does look really menacing, but the colors are like really washed out and grayed. So yeah, it doesn't really look cool to me. I wouldn't really use this. But now next up, we got the Separator, which is pretty much the same thing, but looks a lot better. It's somewhat shiny and clean and stands out a bit more, and just looks satisfying to use. And the next weapon we got is the Good Night Bat. Despite the name, I didn't get any like nighttime stats, but it does look really intimidating and really cool. It's got like these skulls etched onto it, and also good luck etched onto it as well. So yeah, pretty cool looking bat. Now next we got the Rust. Now this does live up to its name. It's, very rusty, and I would have preferred to have a weapon like this, but a bit more cleaner, a bit more shinier, but that is just me. But anyways, that's it for the video. If you guys want to know where you can find other cool weapons in Dying Light the Beast, check out this video right here. Or if you guys want to check out a bunch of Easter eggs in Dying Light the Beast, check out this video instead. But on that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.